Yo, what's up, everybody? Hold on one second. Just hold your horses, folks. Allie Burns is having technical difficulties. Oh my God. So Allie Burns is having technical difficulties. This is Morning Wood with Allie Burns sometimes. I don't know about today. I'll be honest with you. It's a little iffy. I don't know why this light is on. It feels like it's bright. So she's having technical difficulties with her laptop right now. And she's texted me that she just Googled so much and she just learned so much about batteries. I gotta send her a link to. Okay, we're trying, folks. We're trying. Bear with us. In the meantime, like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Yeah, let's see. How do I do this? You guys are just gonna work through it with us. Work through it with me. Plus money. No. Let's just do this. She has the whiteboard, so so there's that. You all love the whiteboard. This is what you get. Invite. Let's invite her. Paste and go. You gotta download the thing, Allie Burns. Holy moly, I don't know what's going on. I don't know, Brooks. I don't know. Listen, trust me, she has yelled. Sugar. Julie Carly, let me read you the text I got. I'm like, oh snap, it's like 9:59. She goes, dude. So I was just dude. My computer will just not turn on. I'm going to read you verbatim, people. Verbatim. Okay. Exact word for word what she texted me. I plugged in all the... oh, shit. She's still texting. I plugged in all the things and then I blew on the battery thingy. And I don't know what to do. And then the next text says, sugar balls. And then the next text says, okay, then after some Google searching, I think that my battery is probably dead because I keep my laptop plugged in all the time. Apparently that can overheat things. Who knew? And I'm like, what the F? I go, this shit only happens to you. Laugh out loud. I go, you want whatever. She goes, I just learned so much about batteries. She goes, I've never been able to open StreamYard on my phone. So I don't know. Well, now she's just sending me who's in the last Woody. Rodney Molina and Chris. I'm not writing all this shit down. So y'all just going to have to put it on the Facebook page or drop it in the comments. I don't. You should be going to the Facebook page to put in last Woodies today. That's what I'm telling y'all. I keep mine plugged in too all the time. It's all plugged in like y'all. This is back behind the scenes. Look. This is what you see. This is the laptop. It's always plugged in. There's the extra monitor. And there's my mic. This is my wife's sturdy bed. That's my view outside, so I see what's going on in these windows and shit. There's my camera's back. Hold on. She's red alert. I can watch in the comments and write pics on my whiteboard. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, cool. All right, so... All right, well, let's talk. I did invite Scott Reich out, so I'm a little chilly, though. It's a little chilly in Vegas. So I got my Lions hoodie on. And when I say chilly, it's 52 degrees. But I won't turn the heat on, so me and my wife are beefing right now. It's 67 in the house. It ain't that cold. Put a hoodie and some socks on. That's what I told her. So, yeah, sugar balls. That's where we're at. You hit the like. I appreciate it. hit the thumbs up for the good luck. Guys, don't forget about, listen, if I don't tell you, Allie Burns is FanDuel. She's sponsored by FanDuel. Give her a like, give her a comment, give her a share, all that stuff. If you're in last Woody or buzzer beater, drop it in the comments. She'll be in the comment section, writing them on the whiteboard until said battery is said fixed, or I don't know, until she blows on the thingy with the thingy. I don't know. FanDuel, no sweat, first bet up to $1,000. Just follow the link in the description of this video. It's right in the link in the description. If you guys are able to, I use FanDuel every day. Every day. I just got 150 free bets, $150 in free bets last night. By just opting in and following some shit. You know what I mean? So, and you know, it cost me like $50 in bets that I didn't win, but I got 150 free bets in it out of it. So, you know, they give you some good stuff, and the lines are pretty decent over there. Certain things are really good on, certain things not so much, but that's to be said with everybody. So if you haven't already signed up with FanDuel, you need to. Link in the description of the video. You click it, take you right to your state-specific sites. You know, no promo code needed. That link will tell them where you're from. So give you all that stuff. What else we got going on? I don't know. I got nothing. That's it. That's the show. Have a good day. Sugar balls. Yeah. I appreciate it. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. Pedro Moore, good morning, bro. Hi, Julie. How you doing? How you doing? Oh boy. I know. I can't make this shit up, folks. I just can't make this shit up. I'm going to put that on the, I'm just telling you right now, Allie Burns, I'm putting it on the Facebook morning page. The text I get from you. I like plugged it all in all the things, and then I blew on the battery thing. You plugged in all the things and you blew the battery? She's blowing on battery thingies. That's all I got to tell you. What up, Lenny? For buzzer beater, take Baylor game over 130.5. Allie Burns will be writing them down in the comments. I see her in the comments up here. Yeah, so I sent him, I said, Scott Reschel should be here. We'll talk some football, look look ahead for Sunday, this weekend's football, college football, NFL. We'll do some stuff like that. If you guys got any, I need 2 college basketball games, y'all. I need 2 college basketball games. I got 1 game in hockey, and I don't even like it. Just probably take the Kings and move on. But I'm not a big fan of it, so there's that. These glasses, I love these glasses. I wear them every day, but they have like a glare thing on them. And my black ones broke. The nose piece broke, and I got new ones coming Monday. That's where I'm at right now. I'm not blowing on battery thingies, but I got all kinds of so I'm going to wear my old school red ones. These have less of a glare. Still glare. Right here in this eye. Why? I don't know. Buzzer beater. Baylor game over 130.5 against Virginia. All right. This should be a very, very big chat type show because we're going to rely on you guys to communicate to each other and Allie Burns via the chat. So I'm just going to be like, the conductor, those old school women, or I should say women, but in the 20s and 50s, when the telephone operators to plug in the things. Every movie I ever saw was just women doing it. So I don't want no smoke, but I'm just saying, they pull the cord, and that's what I'm gonna be doing. Ooh, boom, bang, pop, boom. That's what I do. That's me. That's my nutshell right there. That's me in a nutshell. I keep mine plugged in all the time. I do too. I mean, I just told Mandy about it, and she's like, "Hey, you should." She goes, "Yeah, I unplug mine all the time." And she's like, "You should too. Get a sheet of paper." I ain't getting shit. I'll tell Scott to make haste. There you go. Do it. I mean, worst case scenario, we have to watch the show back. And just so y'all know, Allie Burns is weird like that. She's very detail oriented. She does watch all of I would say most, if not all, of our shows back, and then critiques them which I love. When usually we've had a few drinks, and she'll that's when she tells us. And when I say us, I mean everybody. She tells us all where we could do better, including herself. She doesn't leave herself out, just to be clear. So 2 days to the World Cup. Some of y'all are really excited about that. Yeah, usually. How am I supposed to fix things if I don't blow on the thingy? That's all, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Morning Wood. We might be canceled, but I mean, I'm just saying. But yeah. So it's all good. It's all right. It's not the first time we've had technical difficulties. It probably won't be the last. So if you want someone to join you, Lenny, let me know. Scott Reichel should be on his way momentarily. I appreciate it, Terry Edelman. You're always welcome. But Scott was scheduled anyway to come on the show, so he's just coming a little early. Yeah, Scott should be on his way. But thank you. I really do appreciate that. Pats, Jets, way over. Let's I don't like this NFL slate at all. Listen, one or two things are going to happen. It's going to be a dog weekend, and Lenny's going to make a lot of money in the NFL, or it's going to be bad. I was on the Titans yesterday, and I talked myself into going in the over, but I like the under. We could go live with my daughter right now. Hold on 1 second. Hold on, Scott. Hey, Brianna, I'm on a show.
Oh.
Yeah, Morning Wood. It's at 10 a.m. our time, Monday through Friday. Don't forget to like, comment, share, ring the bell for notifications, and you hit the thumbs up button.
Wait, do you want a story for the show real quick?
You're on the show right now because I'm literally answering the phone because you call me only when I'm working.
Okay, well, real quick. So Nathan calls me. I think someone's dying, so I answer because he never calls me. And he's like, "Can you do me a favor?" And I go, "What's the favor?" He's like, "I send you money. Can you do something for me?" And I was like, "Yeah." So he says, "I'm gonna send you $300. Can you get me ones?"
Okay, I gotta go. We'll talk about your brother's problems later. Bye. Allie Burns is calling me now. Hold on. Allie Burns, you're live on the Morning Wood Show with Lenny and Scott.
Brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant.
What? What was brilliant?
That was brilliant. I was just calling you to get you out of the first conversation.
Oh, yeah. Good job. Yeah, you got me out of the first one. Thank you. All right, gotta go. Bye.
All right, bye.
Scott, how you doing?
Good as going with you. I was supposed to show up at like 45. Then I was told 30. And then Allie texts me, "Help! My computer won't turn on. Get over here." I'm like, all right.
I'm going to read you. I read for the Woodies the same text that she sent me. And this is the text I got this morning at like 9:50. Our show starts 10 a.m. our time, right? So It's like 10 minutes before showtime. She goes, "Dude," and I'm going to read verbatim, okay, word for word. "Dude, my computer will just not turn on." Then it says, I plugged in all the things, and then I blew on the battery thingy, and I don't know what to do. Sugar balls! Exclamation point. And then she goes, after some Google searching, she had problems, basically. She leaves her laptop plugged in all the time. She thinks she blew her battery now, so she's got problems. So she's in the chat, and my daughter only calls me when I'm on air. I'll call her 15 times later today, and she won't answer the phone. But as soon as I go live, she calls me to tell me about something. So
I don't have any kids, so I can't relate. But
well, don't do it. It's a trap.
Ouch. Okay.
I'm just saying. I love my kids. I do. I love them to death sometimes. Pats, Jets. Let's talk some football. How did you do last night? Did you have? Were you on Tennessee?
Yes. I was on VSiN. I talked about Tennessee. I mentioned Lazard. That was my play today as well on YouTube. I gave out Lazard over his receiving yards. Wasn't easy. He dropped a couple passes at the end, but he ended up having the final one to get him into the 50s. I had the prop show with Allie, went 3-1 there. I had Titans first quarter, +1, which got there. I had the Lazard play, and I also had Mason Crosby under 1.5 field goals, and that got there. So 3-1 on that
Okay.
show. That was good. Won the play of the day. Can't complain. You?
Love it. I was on the Titans. I was on the under.
I leaned
so
under
didn't-
as well, but
Yeah, I didn't. Obviously, that didn't cash. I was on the under in the college football game too. And that I did not really look at Tulane throwing a 59-60 spot on there. I didn't see that happening, so I didn't do that well there. I did very well in hockey. I had a nice hockey night. I was on the Devils. I had a nice little 3-team parlay: the Devils, the Avs, and the Red Wings.
that
So,
Devils team is so damn good.
I'm telling you, it's not bad. It's
What are
not
they
bad.
now?
I,
What are
they're,
they now?
they're,
10
I
10
made some
straight?
money on
They're 10 straight now?
Yeah, right. Let me.
I think it's
I
around
didn't pull
there.
up any hockey because there's only one hockey game on today, and I don't like it. I mean, I'm on
It was Kings.
I'm on the Kings, but I don't like it.
I thought about
I mean,
taking the over for the save prop for the Vancouver goalie because the Kings, I believe, are top 5 in shots on goal, and Vancouver's allowing like the 4th most shots per game. So
Yeah.
I thought about maybe taking a goalie, over in saves prop, but I didn't end up taking it.
That's
Penger told me
11
it's
in
11
a
straight.
row.
Okay.
11
I thought
in
it
a
was
row.
10. Okay.
Yeah, 11 in a row. But they're 14-3 or something like crazy like that. So I mean, they're a good
They're
team. Allie's in the chat. She's writing down contest picks and stuff like that. So we just, these people apparently they don't like just my mug. They want to see everybody else's. So we figured we'd just have you come on a little early and save me from the depths of hell of being just talking. Because what happens is I ramble and I just talk to myself on the show and I forget people are in the chat.
That happens. Or you take phone calls, either or.
Well, yeah, I just live. Hi, you're live on Morningwood. Caller number 5. Julie Carly, you want to call in too? It's a Morningwood.
So I am curious, though, since the NFL game kind of went the way we thought it was, you have any other takeaways from the game last night, or just Green Bay is not very good, and Tennessee's a surprisingly decent team, considering the fact they are pretty mediocre on paper?
I think we just, everybody, there's a lot of a lot of talk about Green Bay's back off the mat, and Aaron Rodgers got it right and did all this, and sometimes they're just not a good team. They're not in sync, and they're just not a good. And we know that now. And I think you really, as much as you don't want to believe in the Titans, and they are mediocre when you look at them on paper, I think the best thing about the Titans is they know who they are. They know their identity, and they are a defense first, run first type team, and they play old school football. And I mean, say what you want, that's what they do. But at the end of the day, Derrick Henry under rushing yards.
It wasn't for lack of trying. He had what, 28 carries?
He had 28 carries on. Yeah. So Green Bay did what they could. They stacked the box, try to stop Derrick Henry, and Ryan Tannehill did what he had to do. And Allie Burns is calling me again. Caller number 12. Oh no, now she hung up on me. Allie Burns, I'm in the middle of the show.
She forgot to blow on the. She forgot to blow on the phone.
You didn't blow on the phone. You hung up on me. Yeah, I got you there. Oh, I already went through these comments.
Do you have any early thoughts on the weekend card for the NFL?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay. Good talk.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Listen, I was just saying before you came on, the NFL this weekend is going to be either really good for Lenny or it's going to be really bad. It's going to be a really dog weekend because I like a lot of dogs. I like a lot of I do. But I don't I'm a little iffy on it. Like I'm in this contest, I got to pick 10 money line winners a week, and usually I can get to like 8 right away. The obvious ones, Buffalo, the Ravens, stuff like that. The big spreads, you're just taking money lines and moving on. But games like the Bears in Atlanta, I like the Bears.
I think I have to as well, even though they haven't won a game despite Fields being a lunatic for the last 3-4 weeks.
Exactly. I like the Jets. I you know what I mean? And it's those games that are like 3. I'm taking the road team on a money line. And I don't know. I'm on them with the points, but on a money line, Game like a Rams and the Saints, I don't want nothing to do with that game. Like, if anything, it's the Saints.
I think it's the Saints are the under in that game, but the Rams. I'm
But
going to
it's at,
tell
like,
you this:
39 now.
if the Rams hypothetically don't win a game for the rest of the season, I would honestly not be surprised. It sounds a bit crazy because they still have Stafford, technically, whatever. But with Kupp being injured now, they can't do anything offensively. They have no talent offensively.
Right.
I'm not sure if the Rams are going to win. I think the Rams might win 5 games,
which is great for
at
me.
the end of the year.
It's just great for me because the
You have
Lions
the draft
have,
picks.
they have their number 1 draft pick. So the shittier they do, the Lions could walk away with 2 top 10 draft picks.
They could.
And for the love of God, man, if you could walk away with 2 top 5 draft picks, you could. I mean, that's a stretch, but you kind of can't. And that's a whole different conversation. The draft next year.
I think the Rams are going to finish 5-12.
I don't know if they even get to 5. And Cooper Kupp's done for the year. They should. And Matt Stafford is fighting to get back on the field against doctors for concussion shit. And he's got elbow problems. You should just chalk it up to this is it. You're not making the playoffs. And even if you did, do you really want to? You know what I mean? So, but I'm just flowing through some chat here unless they got questions. They let you down. Anytime touchdown. Pedro Moore, you had a good day yesterday. I wrote my first 4 favorite picks on the board and went 3-1. Then the show, I just kept writing, and those 3 didn't cash. Well, that's good. Not good job. How do you feel about this Dallas Viking game? Because this is my most intriguing game on the board, in my opinion. I hate both teams. Let me just be clear about that.
Do you mean personal or do you mean overall
both.
roster this year?
Well, you kind of got to like the Vikings roster. You kind of do. I mean, Dallas, I don't know. I don't like them personally for sure. I mean, like, they're not on the Christmas card list at all.
I'm assuming you hate the Vikings personally more than the Cowboys. Right?
Vikings team, I hate more. Cowboys fans, I hate above everything.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? So,
okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but this game, the Vikings, I mean, I didn't think they were going to be this good this year, but that's just me as a Lions fan hoping they're not that good. But they're good and they could score. And the Cowboys, I thought their defense was going to be better. I just did. And they're coming off a really big win. What's your thoughts on that game? Let me just
personally, I like Dallas in that spot. It's a situation where we always talk about trap lines and how you try to be, I'd say you try to be smarter than the public because you know that contrarian plays might be the move here. Based on what happened last week, there's no way in hell Dallas should be favored in Minnesota. Like, it doesn't make any logical sense because Minnesota beat Buffalo in Buffalo. Dallas blew a 14-point lead to an awful Green Bay team, and they lost the game in overtime. Yet Dallas is favored. And I do think Dallas is the more talented team, just on paper. I think they're the better overall roster. And I'm looking at advanced stats. Minnesota's very good because they win a lot of close games. But you look at their actual advanced stats and their DVOA and all these other metrics, they're like 17th in DVOA. They're like a mediocre football team. So it depends on how you look at it because Dallas, I think, even though they lost the game to Green Bay, I do like that overall team. I think that from top to bottom, they have a good roster. I think that they have really just a lot of depth. Minnesota, I feel like, just does well when it matters most in the fourth quarter. But it's a little bit fluky to be, 7-0 in one-score games?
Yeah. It has to be. Like, I mean, the Lions are like...
I mean, they should have lost to Buffalo last week, for example.
50 million against one-score games. They can't win one-score games. Minnesota can't lose them, it feels like.
The Buffalo win was a miracle. I mean, it was a miracle.
It's got to level out.
But to answer your question for the Cowboys game, the fact that all the advanced stats suggest that Dallas is the better team, and the fact that Minnesota, even when they win games, do they look overly impressive? I mean, it's impressive they find ways to win. But when you watch them play, do they look like a juggernaut? Not really. I don't think so. I think they're a pretty good team, though. I'm going to lean Dallas because I feel like the line alone is daring the public to take Minnesota. And I've seen this movie before. I'm going to take Dallas.
Yeah. I'm on. Well, I'll tell you. Right
It's
now.
really just looking at the line and the potential
I stayed away from
contrarian
that game.
play, but I really just expect people to slam Minnesota because the loss to Green Bay in the late window of regular television is going to be fresh in people's minds. I think it's a nice spot for a pissed off Dallas team to take advantage of a Minnesota team that might be a little bit hungover after beating Buffalo. And Kirk Cousins, his neck might be sore from wearing all those chains on the plane. If you saw the video.
I have.
That was hype, though. Kirk Cousins, he knows how to party.
That guy, I'll tell you what, there's no other guy you want on your team after a win. Okay, because that guy parties. He's a Michigan State guy, so like I loved him at Michigan State and everything, but since he's come into the NFL, I don't know, he gives off a douchey vibe. And I'm like, you know.
Is that because of the plexiglass vaccination stuff, or even before that?
Even before that, but
okay.
the plexiglass vaccination stuff took me over the edge. I was like,
that was kind of funny, if I'm being honest.
It was hilarious. I thought. I mean,
and AJS is right, by the way. Jefferson is a little bit banged up. He's going to play, but the point is, if he's really the heart and soul of your offense, Cowboys also can't stop the run. So maybe Dalvin Cook might have a big game. But
yeah,
the thing is,
man, I thought Dallas's defense was going to be supposed to be legit and being able to stop the run. And Diggs, I mean, he either goes for the interception or it's a touchdown. He's not.
I'm not going to roast Diggs. I mean, Lazard did nothing until overtime. It just so happened that Watson on the other end did well. But I don't know. I look at Minnesota and I see them as a team that is not as good as the record indicates. I think they're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs, if you want a hot take. But I'll tell you this: since you've been kind of following Minnesota since they're in their division, do you think Cousins looks good this year? I think he's fine. You know, like I feel like Minnesota's, I don't want to say it's smoke and mirrors, but I feel like they're nowhere near as good as their record.
No. I think that I don't want to go as far as calling them a fraud, but I don't want to go as far as calling them elite either. They're a good team that manages the clock well. I think they're very well coached. I think their defense is good, not great. I think their offense has playmakers. And I think if they manage the clock and play it well, they're very good. Like they played their game. So very similar to Tennessee. Like I think they just know their identity and they just do that. And a lot of teams in the NFL don't know their identity. And that's the problem is they don't know what they're doing and what they changes week to week. And it's Tennessee and Minnesota know exactly what they're going to do. And the better part about Minnesota is if Jefferson is banged up and is limited or something like that, they have no problem grounding and pounding the ball with Dalvin Cook or some play action pass or screen pass. I mean, he's very universal.
I don't think they run it enough with him, but I agree. They should run it more.
I think they should run it more, but they believe way too. I think they got too much money in Kirk Cousins not to have him.
Cook also can't stay healthy, so you're trying to limit the touches to keep him healthy. But
yeah, because they want to make a deep playoff run, and right now they're running away with the division. I mean,
I don't know if you agree with me though, but I'm just saying if it was a playoff matchup and Minnesota ends up playing against either Seattle or Dallas, hypothetical matchups against wildcard teams, I will take either Seattle or Dallas.
In Minnesota, I take Minnesota against Dallas.
It's not even just Cousins in the playoffs. I just think that they're going to be a bit overvalued.
I think he gets past. He can get past Minnesota, or he can get past Dallas. I'll be honest with you. I don't think he can get past Seattle. And I know that sounds
like the
weird.
Seattle team. They're fun.
I love the Seattle team. I love everything they've done since game one. And it just against Denver, and I just like the way they're a scrappy team. And I like that. There's a backdoor way the Lions can get in the playoffs too, babe, by the way, as a wild card.
Oh, we're in this portion of the season?
This
when
is
they
where
win one game, they give up 160
keep
yards.
Going.
They give up 160 rushing yards to Justin Fields, and we're talking about the playoffs? Okay, cool.
Yeah, all right. I'm just saying.
It was a nice win.
It all depends on the next two games. What happens in a multi-universe system where the Lions beat the Giants in New York and then beat Buffalo in Detroit on Thanksgiving? The NFL world is going to lose their minds.
I think you're losing your mind as you talk about
it. Oh, absolutely. There's not even taking any drugs at all today, folks. But the Packers line was a complete overreaction to their win against Cowboys. Yes. Bears, bet it. I'm on him.
They have to win at some point, and Fields is putting up video game numbers. At least get a stop. Do something.
He should be able to do what he wants when he wants in Atlanta. Atlanta should be able to do what they want as well. The Bears defense ain't great.
The Bears are just an over team at this point. I mean, you can't stop anybody.
Atlanta can score too. So, and it's in the dome in Atlanta. So, it's not. If it was in Chicago, I'd definitely be on Chicago. But I would feel better about it.
Atlanta has also has extra prep time because they played on Thursday night against Carolina. So if you want to factor that in too, just based on schedule spot, Atlanta does have a better scheduling spot. But
let me ask you this: how do you feel about the Buffalo game being moved to Detroit?
I have a couple angles on this. Do you want the gambling angle or the actual just rant about the NFL?
Both.
Okay.
I do.
I'll start off with the NFL. I understand you wanted people at the game. I understand that it's annoying to travel in 8 feet of snow. Whatever happened to through rain and through whatever, I thought the NFL or like football was known for playing in any environment. I need a snow game.
Except for lightning. That's the only thing we can't play in.
I guess. Even those are usually delayed.
It's debatable.
I wanted a snow game. I think they should have kept it there. It wasn't hazardous, was it? I mean, you're going to be able to shovel the snow off the field. You'd probably be able to have a low-scoring, ugly game. I don't think they should have moved it. But then again, if they wanted fans in attendance or whatever, then again, are the fans from Buffalo now supposed to travel to Detroit? Like, what's the deal with the fans here? I just feel like you're not going to have many people in attendance anyway.
Tickets are on sale Ford Field now. You can get like lower level. I got obviously family in Michigan, Detroit. Just went to Lions game with them. They're like, I can buy a ticket right now for like $20 lower level.
I would go.
And
that's a fun time.
I got both my cousins are both going to the game. They're like, I'll go. I don't give a shit if it's Buffalo. And my one cousin Johnny, he thinks he's smart. He's the guy who calls. He goes, I'm gonna go scout Buffalo on Sunday for Thursday. I'm like, you could scout them on Sunday, bro, but nobody's gonna pay attention to your scouting report.
When you say scouting, can't you just watch the game on TV?
That's what I said. I said, you know what? I'm going to watch it from the comfort of my living room.
Is he supposed to have a notepad in the audience
or
like in the stands and start writing down stuff?
I said, I expect a copy of your notes. And he's like, he'll fax them over.
I'm imagining he's going to be standing there like Belichick at the combine with like a stopwatch timing the people's 40s and
I
stuff.
expect him to bring like a 1990 camcorder.
Nice.
That's got to sit on his shoulder, and then
a little
also
squat
a stopwatch.
Move. Yeah.
And then his wife's going to sit next to him with a notepad, pen and paper, and he's going to just tell her. And then I'm going to get a VHS tape mailed to me.
So my brief rant about the game itself is that they should have played it in Buffalo. I don't give a damn. Play the game in the snow. You're football. You pride yourself on being such a physical and such a tough sport, and yet you're worried about a bit of snow. I think they should have played it. Now, for the gambling perspective, we're not sponsored by this book. In fact, we're sponsored by a competitor, so I can roast this book. I think DraftKings are a bunch of clowns. And I don't know if you know the story of what happened with the total in this game involving DraftKings. So usually most books, according to the house rules, if there's a change in venue or a change in time, your bets get voided naturally because there are different variables that you didn't account for. So all the other books voided the total bets and whatever because it's a different venue and you're going to a dome and it's a big deal. DraftKings came out and said publicly, even though it's a different venue, the game's at the same time, so have fun. They didn't void anything. So the people that bet the unders at like 42.5, the total's now 49, and they're screwed. They didn't get voided. So I know we're sponsored by another book there in the top corner, but just a DraftKings roast, it's extremely scummy. It's extremely scummy. And I don't know how you plan on competing in the marketplace if you're going to constantly screw over customers. That's my brief rant. But that's a joke. That's an absolute joke.
Yeah, I agree. Do better. Just do better as a whole. And not to mention how many of those customers you can piss off that they're not going to re-up when
I wouldn't.
Why are you going to reload money into there? Because if you can get DraftKings, you can get FanDuel.
You can get FanDuel, any other book. Some people still bet on
stuff like
with a local guy, but I just don't understand how with sports betting so legalized in a lot of places, some books really insist on like putting their foot down on the dumbest things imaginable just to screw over, annoy customers that'll drive them to other competitors. Like, I don't get it. If I'm just saying, I use DraftKings, I also use FanDuel, but if I had money on the under and they did not, and I was in the situation with people, I would probably withdraw my money. Like, that is so scummy to not refund anybody for betting on an outdoor game. You move the game indoors and in a different state, and you don't refund that. That's an absolute travesty from an ethics perspective. That's a joke.
I will say this too. I have a couple takes on this, and I'm bring the comment back up, but I have a couple takes on this in the same way. Like, it is two sides of this coin here. One, I remember years ago when they had a big snowstorm and stuff, and all the drama and delay. Like, it's not just playing in the snow. We're talking about like Nick Chubb's only 5'10". They're talking about 6 foot of snow. Okay.
Once again, not exactly on the field because they would just plow the whole thing before. But yeah.
Right. But then you got to think of all the stands and the stairs and all the seats and all that. Not to mention the parking lot. There's a lot of work that goes into that. And I can understand that, yeah, we can hire more people, more equipment, this, that. I get that. I do understand safety protocols and stuff like this. And I get the move. I get it. I don't like it as a football fan. I want to see. I was looking forward to that snowy game. That Central Michigan, Western Michigan game the other day in the snow.
That was a lot awesome. Of fun. Yeah.
Awesome. And I would love to see that in the NFL standpoint from a Buffalo. And that's what you think of when you think of Buffalo. Sooner or later, we're going to get that snow-filled game. Green Bay, stuff like that outside. But my conspiracy theory, part of my brain, is the NFL is just trying. It's all year we've been hearing about Buffalo going to the Super Bowl. And then they lose a couple games, and now we're trying to make it easier for Buffalo to get to the Super Bowl. Not that they had a hard time getting through Cleveland this week and then Detroit on Thanksgiving. That's not going to be hard for them at all. But if we can make it any easier for you, Roger Goodell is going to take you and put you in the same stadium, in a dome. Like, they won't let the Lions. For years, Lions fans have been bitching about, why don't we have a bye week or anything before the Thanksgiving game? And they say no. So we have to but if we play on Sunday and then play on Thursday at home, it's too much of an advantage for us. So then we have to have a road game. So that's fine. We have a road game going to New York. Not that far of a trip. It's not like we're going west. We're going east. It's not that far. And we're going to play the Giants. And then we have to come home. Buffalo's just going to stay. And I love the meme going around that multiple people. I love that everybody in the Brothers tagged me in it because to remind me of it. But and I posted it as well on Twitter. It's from the Captain Phillips or whatever, the pirate.
The captain now, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like, this is we played here for 2 weeks. This is our stadium now. Lions probably. Listen, the Bills are going 2-0, right?
I understand your point because you're a Lions fan and you're a bit salty about it. I don't think it has to do with a conspiracy theory. I think the issue is you just can't travel. I think that's the problem because you're going to have to either fly out of Buffalo in the middle of a snowstorm on a short week. And AJS mentioned the roads are closed and it might be. I think it's really just about travel. It's tough to get to the stadium. It's probably dangerous and you can't fly out of there. I think it's all about travel. But
they left last night, but the Buffalo team did. They left the majority of their team, I believe either last night or early this morning, to get out of town before everything closed because they were worried about being able to get out of town.
I was arguing if the game was still on Sunday, then the roads might have been closed and it might have been almost impossible to get to the actual stadium. So that's my logic of why they moved it. It's just,
that's the only way I can actually make sense of that. But
you mentioned conspiracy. I don't buy that. I just think the roads and everything is just so bad over there.
But that's okay because the Lions are going to win on Thanksgiving and Roger Goodell's you can't help Buffalo get to the Super Bowl. So probably not, but whatever. Captain Brian says, as a Cowboy fan, I believe in Dax. Dax is overrated, and Coach McCarthy is not a good coach. However, I still think Dallas Bears the Vikes, unless McCarthy makes a dumb call or two. Well, that's a given. He will make a dumb call or two.
I still agree with that. I think McCarthy, to be honest, this season, I don't think McCarthy's been that bad. The clock management's not good. You can argue the fourth down decision to go for it against Green Bay wasn't the greatest decision. I don't know if they trusted Maher outside or not. I don't actually have that information. But either way, McCarthy hasn't been atrocious this year. I do think Dak's a little bit overrated. He's still good. He's just not a top 10 guy, and you're paying him to be a top 10 guy. That's kind of the problem. But like, if I asked you right now, who would you rather have, Dak or Derek Carr? I probably would lean Derek Carr.
Yeah.
It's close.
Yeah.
I think they're in the same exact kind of boat.
Hey, the problem with Dallas is I don't like Mike McCarthy at all.
I don't like him either. But this year, I think he's been tolerable.
But he's not.
He was a lot worse last year. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. But you put too much. Jerry Jones is the problem there. That's the problem. But
Jones
I mean, on a bigger scale. But you put too much money into Dak. He doesn't have an S. I know Dak, and Ezekiel Elliott is not your number one running back.
And
you paid him as if he was. Tony Pollard is legit.
He's so good. Pollard.
I too. Like I would love Tony. You can come on over to the Lions at any time, because DeAndre Swift will not be there next year.
He can't stay healthy, so Swift is gone.
Can't stay healthy. I don't want to, and he's going to want number one money, and we're not going to give him number one money.
I like Williams too. I think he's good.
I love Jamal. He's the heart and soul of that team. If you watched Hard Knocks, he's been that way for like 2 years though. So I pay him whatever he wants. Who do we like? Pac-10, UCLA, USC. I lean USC, but I don't love it. We're talking college.
This line is really, really interesting, and it was going to be a much bigger game before UCLA laid an absolute egg in the look-ahead spot and lost to Arizona. It's good. The game matters because it's a California battle. I get it, but like UCLA just had a chance to potentially make a seriously New Year's Six Bowl, like to make a seriously impressive resume builder. Just based if they went into this game and they ended up beating USC, they were pretty much a lock for the a New Year's Six Bowl, potentially making the conference title game, and that just went right out the window because they lost it. They lost to Arizona. USC, I think, is a good team offensively. Defensively, they're awful, but so is UCLA. So that's kind of the trade-off. I think the game's just going to come down to who do I like more, Caleb Williams or DTR. I like Caleb Williams more. I think Caleb Williams is a future top 3 pick in the draft, maybe top 1 pick in the draft. I think DTR is more of a second, third rounder. He's really not consistent with his arm. He can run, though. But I'm going to lean USC. The line's a little bit too short for me. I think there's going to be a bunch of points. Like, I like the over in this game. I think it's going to be an absolute track meet. But I am going to go USC.
It's going to be like, it's at like 76 or something, or 70-something.
Yeah. They also played.
I do like it over.
They played earlier last week against Colorado. So they had a couple extra days of prep. I believe they played on Thursday, I think. And they won comfortably. Couple extra days to prepare. I'm going to lean USC. I know the argument is UCLA, they've been motivated. They've been looking ahead to this game. But when your goal throughout the entire year is to pretty much win a conference title and you lose to Arizona, who might not make a bowl game, I wonder if the win kind of got taken out of your sails.
Yeah, I lean over, and I know it's over. And like I look at this game, possibly has overtime written all over it.
One team could get to 50 here, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Not even a little bit. And so I like the over. I lean USC in that matchup. I think they're just a better team. I do.
I've seen DTR for like 5 years. He's a good college quarterback who's going to miss a lot of throws he should make late in games. Caleb Williams does not miss those throws.
Nope.
I think that's the difference.
And shout out to Caleb Williams, who could possibly be a Detroit Lion next year. I wouldn't hate.
He's not in this draft though. He's in the next one.
Or not? Yes, not 2 years. 2 years.
Just saying. I think he's pretty much a lock in my eyes to be the number 1 pick, but he'll definitely go top 3.
And I'm okay with those USC guys. Amon-Ra St. Brown, USC guy. So like that. TCU at -2.5 versus Baylor. Locker or trap?
Baylor's dead to me. On the college show, I gave them out against Kansas. I gave them out against Kansas State last week on the college show, which did not go well at all. In fact, they got smacked. But the argument was Baylor just beat Oklahoma. They were going back home. I figured were playing some good football. Kansas State had some quarterback concerns because of injuries to Martinez, and you weren't sure who was going to play, and blah, blah, blah. And then Baylor no-showed a game at home. And you could argue that after the no-show, Aranda's going to get his team ready to roll, and TCU, is a team that's been overachieving, arguably, all season long. I'm going to go with TCU in that one. Baylor moneyline, I understand the angle because the line is so short. I tried this exact same game last week, and Kansas State beat the crap out of them. Baylor had a shot there to make it to the conference title. Now they don't. You can argue about pride. I feel like if you just bet against TCU every week, you're probably selling your house at this point because they've killed you every single week. Yeah. I've had enough of going against the Horned Frogs. This team just finds a way to win. And Baylor, I like them up front. They should be able to run the ball. But I don't know what that was against Kansas State last week, and that's just a complete stay away for me. I am not touching Baylor at all. That's
fair. Yeah, I'm on TCU until they prove me wrong. And just to be honest with you, and I bet on them all year. I
think Duggan's also
against the spread.
Duggan's also a much better quarterback than Shapen. Duggan's the much better quarterback in this matchup.
Yep. And you know what? I kind of like that kid Miller. I can't think of his first name. I just know it's Miller. Like
DeAndre.
Yeah. Running back TCU.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if it's DeAndre or Keandre. I think it's Keandre with a K. Pretty sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of Quentin Johnson. That guy's a ridiculous wide receiver.
Dude, that guy's
incredible.
I like him. What's his name? Marvin Harrison Jr. I like him from Ohio.
Harrison Jr. is a cheat code. I mean, that guy's guaranteed.
There's
to be a good
so
player.
many different. There's some wide receiving core, like this class. The future looks bright for the NFL. I'll just say that.
I don't even think Harrison Jr. is eligible. I think he has to go back to college next year.
Yeah, he's got one more year.
Yeah, it's just stupid because he would be a guaranteed top 5 pick in the draft.
He's a difference maker right now.
Yeah,
like
he could be a number 1 wide receiver on basically like 90% of the league. Like he's
I wish we could take this class of picks for the Lions and fast forward a whole nother class, just jump a class, because I would take, if I had 2 top 5 picks, you could walk out of there with Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, your move potentially could be to get a couple top 5 picks, trade one of them for a team that's desperate for a quarterback, and get a bunch of picks for next year's draft. That's a possibility.
I'm hoping
somebody's going to reach for a quarterback. For the record, I don't go into that big of a deep dive for the draft stuff.
Right.
I don't think Levis is a good quarterback, and I don't understand the hype around the kid. I get the argument is that he's got size, he's got all the actual, the overall physical tools, and apparently his work ethic's great. I know his teammates stink. I know that. But if you watch him play, I don't think he looks very good. And yes, you could say, well, it's because he has no offensive line and he's no whatever. Did you see him against Vandy last week? He was awful.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I get the weather wasn't great, whatever.
Right.
He completed less than 50% of his passes against Vandy. What are we doing here? It's like this guy's a top 5 pick. I don't see it. I don't think he's that good. We always hear about the physical tools guy, and you kind of hope he can piece the rest of it together. I'm just saying, if you take Levis, good luck to you, because I would.
Are closed in Buffalo. Yeah, AJ's. He's out that way. He's already got 3 feet of snow. So
I don't know if you agree about Levis, but I've watched him play on several.
I'm not
occasions.
a fan.
I don't get it.
I'm not a fan. I don't think he's going to transition from college. There's some quarterbacks that are really good college quarterbacks, and then there's some that you could see the transition to the NFL.
Yeah,
you can see how he's going to be okay. And I don't see how he's going to be okay.
You draft based on physical tools. And next thing you know, you draft Jake Locker.
Yes.
You draft a couple of college guys because you look at his height and his arm strength and go, but he's 6'5". I have to draft this guy. Christian Hackenberg. The guy's huge. He's going to figure it out. And then you watch them play and you realize he's just not very good. I get it, but at some point you got to at least transition some of your overall physical tools to success on the field. And I mean, Kentucky is just not very good offensively this year, the whole year. And yes, his supporting cast isn't good again, but I mean, we saw Josh Allen look decent in Wyoming. He had moments there. Wyoming didn't have anybody. I've just watched Levis several times. I don't get it. I don't think he's very good.
I don't know if you guys watch You know that show on ESPN called Peyton's Place, Peyton Manning's
Yes.
Place, or whatever.
Mhm.
Peyton's Place.
Good show.
I've watched it. I love him. I do. I think Peyton Manning's hilarious. But Monday Night Football, I'd much rather watch Peyton and Eli talk about football than whatever.
I actually don't think that Buck and Aikman have done a bad job, but I agree with you.
I just can't stand Joe Buck. But yes,
that's fair.
But I would recommend it. It dropped a couple weeks ago, not too long ago. The latest Peyton's Place, and he's in Detroit with I can't think of the comedian guy who played one of half, not Jim Carrey, the other half of the guy from Dumb and Dumber, Jeff Daniels.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So he's there and he's driving around town. There's a curse in Detroit. We are cursed. This total conspiracy left turn, but the Lions are cursed. And it's the curse of Bobby Lane. And if you haven't heard about it, it's the same thing like the curse of Babe Ruth and all that. The Lions won all those championships in the 50s before the NFL. And the last one they won was in 1957. And then they traded him to, I think, Pittsburgh. And he was just a drunk. He was like, he would show up to there was multiple interviews, people tackling him, be like, you could just smell the alcohol on his breath. He was just drunk all the time. He drank in the locker room. This is in the 50s. Those guys did different things then. He drank at halftime. He's whatever. Well, he, in a drunken rant, said that the Lions will never win anything again because he was the best quarterback that football's ever seen, and they traded him. And we haven't won shit since. So Peyton Manning and Jeff Daniels do this whole curse reversal thing.
Nice.
At Ford Field. Since this show aired, we're 2-0.
Okay. Nice.
We got to have some kind of hope. We're 2-0. So I'm just saying, I can't even get to his job. Lucky snow day. Yeah, there you go. She can't get to her job either. She can't blow on the thingy. Keep telling you.
You have any games you like for night in basketball, or you're just staying away from basketball?
I'm not an NBA guy that much. Like I try to get like one play a day. I've been trying to do that on our show with Nick and Tim Earle. And last night I was on Portland. That did not work. And I'm like 8-8 in the NBA this year. I want to like my Pistons tonight because I can't stand the Lakers. It's fading the Lakers full-time job.
That's a separate can of worms, but your team's got to fire Dwayne Casey. Your team's
I can't stand him.
Your team's a disaster. I mean, that's the only way I could sum it
all
up.
the talent, all the young talent in the world, and he just whatever.
He's terrible. Like you got
fading the Lakers meets the Pistons on a back-to-back with Dwayne Casey. I don't like it. So it's probably like I don't know. What about you? You got anything in the NBA? I'm gonna keep going through some chats.
Well, I do agree with you. I'm leaning Lakers in that game. LeBron might play. They haven't played in like 4 or 5 days. It's a very weird scheduling spot for the Lakers, but the Pistons are just not a good basketball team. And with Cunningham being out, they don't have many offensive weapons. Dwayne Casey is also not a good coach. But I do think if you want to look at one game that I'm kind of liking for a total, I like the under in that Mavericks Nuggets game. It's at around 215.5. I don't get it. I don't think this total makes any sense. Denver's offensive numbers this year are very, very good when Jokic plays. He's currently in COVID protocol. They scored 103 points against the Knicks last game. That game landed 209. The Knicks don't guard anybody. And yet the game landed 209 because the Nuggets don't have many great scorers on the team. Porter Jr. was awful in that game. I know Bones Highland's pretty good off the bench. But Denver can't really score, and Dallas is dead last in pace. They're a good defensive team. Luka is back in the lineup, but 215.5 with the Mavericks, who play slower than any other team in the league against Denver, who scored 103 against the Knicks without Jokic. I don't know how that totals in the 215 range. I think Denver doesn't even reach 100. I think Denver finishes with like 95.
Okay.
So I like the under in that one. I don't get it at all.
I'm writing Allie Burns down plays because I'm going to take this. How do you feel about college basketball? You like anything?
College basketball, I don't really like anything on tonight's card. Usually all the good games are on like Saturday, but they're in the middle of tournaments. So, you could kind of look along and find something you might like. I'll tell you what, though. One team that I kind of blindly really, really like just to win the title at this point is Houston. I think Houston's just absolutely insane. And I know they haven't really played anybody worth a damn yet, but you can usually get a read on like which teams you can visualize and which teams you can just tell have a blueprint that works well in March. Houston has that blueprint. Like, Houston is absolutely insane. And you're looking at Gonzaga. I could tell you right now, I know it was outdoors against Michigan State. I knew from the first half against Michigan State, Gonzaga's got no chance to make the Final Four. I just watched them play, and I'm like, no, this team's not, they're not good enough. Like, it's not going to happen. And then Texas beat the crap out of them last time out. They won by 20. But Gonzaga, I don't like. I know A&M's about to lose again to Colorado. They're getting smacked. So A&M's going to fall a little bit. But North Carolina is a team that I like because I root for them as a fan. I don't think they're very good. And I know they're the number one team in the country. I think it was really just an overreaction to what happened last year. People forget that the Tar Heels were on the bubble. They were almost not going to make the tournament. And then they beat Coach K in his final game in Duke's home stadium. And that ended up getting them into the tournament. And they just completely destroyed everybody else in the bracket, beating Baylor in that overtime game. They won a bunch of games there. But it seems like they just caught fire at the right time. But last year, with basically the same core, they were a bubble team, and now they're the number one team in the country. Like, I don't think North Carolina is that good. And you look at them in their out-of-conference games, they barely beat Wilmington. They trailed at half against Charleston. They barely beat Gardner-Webb. They were favored by 20 or something, and they won by like 6. I don't think North Carolina is very good. They're good enough to like potentially make an Elite 8 run or whatever. There's no chance they win the title. I don't think they're good enough. If you wanted my pick right now for who I think is the best team in the country, it's Houston, and I don't think it's very close. I think Houston is an unbelievable basketball team.
I can get behind that. I don't like a lot. I'm really.
Michigan State, I think, is actually not that bad. It's like a sleeper team.
I think
there.
Michigan State is going to be a great team to take. I want Michigan State plus points every year.
Yeah, they're going to be a very good ball because they play hard for Izzo, and Izzo's going to be able to outcoach most coaches in all.
Most of them, yeah. But I will say this: I don't like them today -6.5 against Villanova. I don't like them today against Villanova.
I just don't like Villanova.
I don't want to lay those points.
I get it. It just Villanova is a team that I think they might barely make the tournament. Because people can talk about the talent and how players play, coaches coach. You can't just lose arguably the best coach in all of college basketball who brought in a bunch of recruits and just expect to hold serve while he's not there. I think Villanova, we already saw them lose to Temple. I don't think they're very good, and I think Villanova is going to be kind of like Virginia last year. I know Virginia didn't get in. Maybe Villanova does. I think they're going to be kind of near the bubble towards the last couple months because they don't have that coaching intangible where Jay Wright's probably worth 3-4 points by himself because he's just a ridiculous basketball coach.
Okay.
I don't know if you agree with me. I think Jay Wright was the best coach in all college basketball. That's where I stand.
I can agree with that.
And now Allie's pointing out, isn't Villanova doing the same thing Duke is? Well, yes, except the point is Duke gets much better recruits year in, year out. That's the difference. The difference is no matter who the coach is, Duke's going to get Duke prospects. Villanova really didn't do anything besides the 1985 win against Georgetown. And then Jay Wright just brought the program to just an insane amount of success, winning several championships. Do you think people really want to go to Pennsylvania to play for Villanova without Jay Wright, or do you think they'd rather go to Duke? They're going to go to Duke. Duke's a staple.
Yeah, I mean, it's a name recognition thing at that point. It's not. I don't know. I do think Michigan State is underrated, like Ali says. I'm also looking at Davidson as a sleeper team despite their performance yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know Davidson got smacked, but I think they're a pretty good team. The issue with Davidson, they never really have the athletes. They always just revolve so heavily on three-point shooting that if they end up missing a bunch of threes, they're going to lose. They really don't have a plan B or plan C on how to win games. But I'm trying to think of any other teams that I'm really liking so far. I know you kind of want to know about actual game picks. I'm kind of looking at the overall landscape for futures and stuff. I think Kansas is good. Baylor, I don't know what to think of because I saw them smack Mississippi Valley State. That doesn't count. Like we could smack Mississippi Valley State. Like they're the worst
Right.
college basketball team every year in D1.
I got a good jump shot. I'm just saying I'm not really gonna go. I'm not gonna play defense, but I got a good jump shot. So.
But my main takeaway so far this season, I think Kentucky's good, not great. They'll probably lose again in the Sweet 16. I think Houston's going to make it to the Final Four, probably beyond. I think that team's really, really good. And I think North Carolina might be on upset alert early on because I really just don't think that team is capable of really running it back the way they did last year. I think they just got hot at the right time.
Yeah, and I will agree with that. I do like UCLA. I think their basketball team's pretty decent.
They're very good.
You think they're going to make a deep run, I guess?
What?
You think they make a deep run?
They basically have the same core for the last 3 years. So you're kind of hoping that they can just keep the chemistry alive and they could make it work. The issue is with Mick Cronin, the offense is going to really just have some dry spells. And the question is, can you overcome it? Because Mick Cronin has always been a defensive-minded coach. They were kind of like North Carolina 2 years ago. They barely got in the tournament. They got hot at the right time. They made a dream run.
That's all that matters. You just got to get in.
Yeah, and then their last year, they ran into a team that was much more talented than them, and they lost. They almost lost in the first round, actually. I'm trying to remember who they were against, but they were trailing late in that game. I forgot who it was against, but Akron? I think it was Akron. They almost lost to in the first round of the tournament last year. But, yeah, my overall takeaways for college basketball right now, Houston, really, really good. Easily my number one team in the country. Like, not even close. I think that team is unbelievable.
Right. David Skarsky's taking Michigan State in the buzzer beater. Is darn good. Oh, Michigan State basketball is darn good. That's not his buzzer beater. I realize that. Let's say they are good. Let's not go with damn. It's about time. Just trying to catch up on the things because we're out of time. I appreciate you stopping by. We are over time. I just realized what time. Hey, time flies when you're having fun. But yes, Scott, I appreciate you stopping by, filling in, coming in hot early. Appreciate it so much. Let me tell you, because if I had to have her on speakerphone telling me how she's blowing thingies and it's not working, I don't know what to do. But we appreciate you. Check out Scott Reichel on the prop drop, primetime prop drop. Right, that's what it's called. Primetime prop drop.
3-1
with Allie Burns. I don't know. You guys are doing one today, are you? Probably.
No, we do it Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday. Okay, check that out. I know you've been crushing over there. Yes. Thanks. We appreciate you stopping by. We're gonna bounce on out of here, guys. I appreciate everybody stopping by, giving a thumbs up. We'll see you Monday on Morningwood, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Peace out.